Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this year's Badges and Books event. I'm sorry that 2021 is virtual again, but we want to keep everyone safe. In the meantime, please enjoy this video that shows all of our equipment. Feel free to come out and climb on it and touch on it in the future. We work for you, it belongs to you. But in the meantime, kids, don't forget, the whole point is to open up a book, get after the reading. It's so super important. And in the meantime, we miss you, and we'll see you in person in 2022.
Thank you for that great introduction, Chief Cesny. This is one of the best library programs of the year, Badges and Books, where you get to meet the great men and women of the Grand Prairie Police Department who we never take for granted for keeping our city one of the safest places to be in this country. Now today, we're going to be joined by Officer J.D. West, who is going to be giving us a tour of all the different departments of the Grand Prairie Police Department. How you doing today, J.D.?
I'm doing outstanding, Peter. Thank you for asking.
This is great. Where are you going to take us first?
Let's go talk to two of our motorcycle officers, Officer Brian Reinhardt and Officer Mike Tuba. Guys, can you tell us a little bit about what you do out here for traffic safety?
For us in the traffic unit, and specifically on motorcycles, what our main job to do is to keep the public safe by gaining compliance with the drivers, just basic laws, not speeding, using your blinkers, wearing your seat belts, things like that. Our other job is to respond to accidents or vehicle collisions and help those people through those times and collect all the information we need and complete the accident reports.
So tell the kids something they might not know about your motorcycle.
Well, this particular motorcycle is a 2020 Harley-Davidson Road King Special Police Edition. It's a 114 cubic inch Harley-Davidson engine. The bike's got a lot more power than what a standard motorcycle, what you would buy off a showroom floor. It has an electrical system that allows for plug-in computers, cell phones. We have light kits that normally these motorcycles don't have, and it has pipes that are loud.
Peter, the next unit I wanted to show you is our bike unit. So this is Sergeant Matt Dick. Sergeant Dick, can you tell us a little bit about the bike unit?
Sure, the bike unit, we have 5 officers and 1 supervisor in this unit, and our job is to get out and find criminals in their element, and we do that by being sneaky. So the Tahoe is very obvious and very easy to see, and people that are up to no good, when they see that black and white Tahoe coming down the street, they scatter. The advantage that we have with the bikes is they're not expecting to see us on bikes, so we can get into some places that the Tahoes can't really get into and sneak up on those bad guys and get them to jail where they belong.
Sergeant, can you tell us something that we might not know about this particular bike?
Well, Officer West, the bikes are pretty much a standard mountain bike that you get from the shop, but we do put some extra stuff on it that you won't get at your regular bike shop. And we have a bag which has all of our ticket books and gloves and evidence bags. And we've also got lights, red and blue lights just like you see on a Tahoe. We'll have those. That way if we need to turn on red and blue lights to get the bad guys to stop, we can get their attention that way.
Peter, next is something we're really excited about. So let's go talk to Sergeant Brad McCovey with the lake.
Hey, JD.
Hey, Sergeant. Is there something you can tell us about what you guys do out on the lake, and maybe tell us a few details about this new boat?
Well, currently right now there's 5 officers and me assigned to the lake, and our main responsibility is just to patrol the waterways in our boats to make sure that it's safe for other boaters and for swimmers so that everybody can enjoy their weekends. Around the start of the year is when we got our brand new boat that the City Council approved for us last year. It's a walk-around cabin safe boat, 27 foot long. It's got 600 horsepower on it. It's got a heating and air conditioning in it, so in the summertime the guys can stay cool, and if we have something that kicks off in the wintertime, the guys can stay warm and we can go out and assist not only our citizens but other agencies as well.
Now, is it true this boat is unsinkable?
That's what they tell us. We're going to try not to sink it.
That's an amazing piece of equipment. Peter, something we always like to talk about is our Canine Unit, so let's go talk to Bo and Kaiser. Let me introduce Officer Chris Husky and his dog Kaiser, and Canine Officer Lance Monty and his dog Bo. Officer Monty, can you tell us a little bit about what you do with your Canine Unit?
Yeah, I'm a patrol officer with Canine, and we look for illegal drugs on the street. We also apprehend the really bad guys when we need to. But there are only certain circumstances that we would use a dog to catch somebody.
Such a great looking dog. I'd like to know a little bit more about Bo.
Yeah, so he's a Belgian Malinois German Shepherd mix. He came from Hungary. He's almost 3 years old. He is very energetic. He's like a firecracker that never goes out. As you can see, he's very aware of everything going on around him, and he's just a really good dog. You know, these dogs aren't always good candidates to be police dogs. We look for certain dogs, and he was one of the candidates that just really stood out amongst the other dogs that we looked at.
Yes.
And he's got a very high drive, meaning that whenever I ask him to do something, he'll do it without any hesitation. Whether he's tired or not, he's going to keep on doing it until he accomplishes what I'm asking him to do.
So, Officer Husky, your mission is a little bit different in that you work for the GPISD also in deploying your dog. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can. Well, Kaiser is a 6-year-old. He's a Belgian Malinois also. And what Kaiser does, he works for the school district, and he works inside the schools doing, first off, we do like a show and tell. We do reading with children. And then also we go in and do searches with the school admin looking for narcotics, guns, anything that don't belong in the schools that's going to keep our kids safe and keep the education going right.
Peter, much thanks to our Canine Unit. And now let's go talk to SWAT. I'd like to introduce you to Officer Guire with SWAT. Officer Guire, tell us, what does SWAT stand for?
So SWAT stands for Specialized Weapons and Tactics.
Okay.
Right? And basically we come out whenever we have a high-risk search warrant or arrest warrant we need to serve, or if a criminal does something particularly bad and decides to barricade themselves in their house and they don't want to come out, we're brought in to basically bring them out and place them under arrest. Alrighty, so some of the equipment that we use, this is our ballistic vest that we wear. It has hard plates in it for added protection. We have some of our gear on the front. We have magazines for our rifles, things like that we'll need on our call, night vision and stuff on the side. Moving over here is our ballistic helmet, which is bulletproof, and there's a night vision mount on it, and that's what we wear when we go out. It has our communications equipment on the side as well, so we can talk back and forth between one another. Over here is our 40mm launcher, which is pretty cool. It can either fire canisters of gas into a home if we need it to, or it can shoot foam baton rounds if we need to take a suspect into custody using like a less lethal means. Then moving on, as I mentioned before, if somebody decides to barricade themselves in their home, we have a ram here that we can use to get the front door open. And then some other tools that we have, this is called a Halligan, and we can stick this inside between the frame and the door, and we can pry the door off its hinges that way. And then down here on the bottom is one of our ballistic shields that we can use if we're making entry. It's a bulletproof shield, has a light on it, and it has the window in front, so we can go into a house and be more protected from what we might encounter inside. Alrighty, so like I mentioned before, sometimes we go out on a call where a suspect has barricaded themselves in their home, so we bring out what is called the Bearcat. And the Bearcat is a really heavily armored vehicle that we can use in order to drive up into somebody's front yard. It has some big hooks on the front if we need to pull the door off, but it keeps us safe in the mission we're trying to accomplish, and it can carry personnel in the back. As you can see, it also has a giant turret that an operator can sit up in. And then if we move just to the inside here, you can see it has some of our communications equipment, our lights, our sirens, things that we use to communicate with our command post when we're on scene. Continuing on with the Bearcat, as you can see, it has some gun ports on the side that can be pushed out and flipped down. Everything is fully armored, including our glass, which is bulletproof. Has foot rails all around the side in order for the operators to stand on, and then we can deploy out of the back as well. As you can see, we have some more equipment in there, some stuff under the seats, one of our pole cams, and some medical equipment as well.
Sir, I really want to thank you for your time and kind of walking us around and answering some of these questions.
Sure, absolutely.
And Peter, now we're going to go talk to CSI. So Peter, this is Janesta Nolan. She heads up our crime scene unit. And Janesta, can you tell us a little bit about what goes on here? And by the way, what does CSI stand for?
Awesome, thank you, JD. Hi, I'm Janesta, nice to meet you guys. So CSI stands for Crime Scene Investigation. We are the Crime Scene Investigation Unit here at the Grand Prairie Police Department. We are a civilian unit, so we are not sworn, we don't carry guns. We are responsible for going out and processing all scenes, crime scenes within the city of Grand Prairie. And this is an example of what we kind of got going on. Would you like to guys come on in and see? So this is our vehicle processing bay. This is one of the many areas in the police department where we process items of evidence. One of our main ways of processing are the latent fingerprints. Latent fingerprints are a great way to make identifications to suspects or victims because no one in the world has the same fingerprint. Out of the billions of people in the world, everybody has unique fingerprints. And this is one of the ways we do it. We lift here in Grand Prairie thousands of fingerprints every year. And also our CSIs are responsible for lifting prints and comparing and making those identifications. This is a really cool fingerprint brush. This is a real fingerprint brush. You can tell because it's black. On the scene and in movies, these will be white, but you know it's used because it's black. So what we have here on the floor, and my partner Amanda has set up a mock crime scene. These are typical items of evidence that we would look at, from blood stain, clothes, to weapons, to even shoe impressions. And these are actual markers that we would use, and very much the same space and how we organize our items of evidence. This is actually Amanda's kit. Amanda is our senior crime scene investigator here with the Grand Prairie Police Department. She has been here almost 10 years and she's absolutely amazing. We call her Amazing Amanda. This is her kit. This has everything she needs in order to process a scene. We have lots of scales, lots of rulers, even our very own, very highfalutin camera that we use for every single crime scene that we go on. So this is our bag and our kit that we use, part of our assortment of tools that we use to process a crime scene. So this is one of 2 crime scene vehicles that we have. We use these vehicles to respond to every scene, and we can respond to any scene in our lovely city with everything that's in here. So you will see anything we need are organized very well in the back of our vehicles.
Peter, I'd like to thank Janesta Nolan and giving us that information about the CSI unit. And now I'd like to go talk with Officer Walden. Now it's interesting because he's with the bike unit, but he also has a deployable drone. Can you tell us a little bit about that drone, Officer Walden?
Absolutely. So we've got 3 different sizes of drones. One that we use primarily during the daytime, and then we've also got some that we use at night, but we've got a lot of different cameras that we can use. Some that reach all the way to see things in Dallas, and some that see things at night just as plain as day.
Okay.
We use them for many different things, like looking for missing persons, maybe people who are wanting to hurt themselves, people who run from the police at nighttime. Very often we look for them. We find a lot of them using those drones. So we have a ton of different drones that we use, and a lot of different people that are in the department that can fly them, such as detectives, bike patrol, lake officers, and a ton in patrol.
I understand you actually have a drone unit in the Grand Prairie Police Department.
We do, yes sir. Each of those people who can fly a drone are part of the drone unit, and that's kind of their secondary duties that they can do.
Do you think I could get you to give us a demonstration?
Absolutely. So there's our drone on the ground with our really fancy camera, and we've got our controller here and our screen. Our screen can show us anything that camera's looking at, and so we just go ahead and take off with the controller here.
I'd like to thank Officer Walden for that really neat drone demonstration. And while I'm at it, I'd like to thank everyone involved in helping us pull this off and showing all of our great resources here at the Grand Prairie Police Department. And special thanks to the library for giving us the opportunity. Peter, back to you.
Wow, thank you, JD. That was just an incredible program. We want to thank Chief Cesny and all the brave members of the Grand Prairie Police Department for making the city one of the absolute safest places to be in the United States. You keep us protected, you keep our streets clear. It's just a great place to live because of all of you. And thanks to all of the viewers who joined us watching this. I hope you got as much out of it as I did. So for the library staff, I'm Peter, reminding you to check it out.